I will give my vote to Michelle Smith, who was a caregiver to Alec Murdaugh's mother, who was not far away. And I think Alec was hoping, would be his alibi. Alec claims that he was asleep during the course of the murders, from 8:40 to 9 p.m. The murders happened out at the dog kennel on the property, and that he woke up at 9 and he went and he saw his mom, who has Alzheimer's. He saw the caregiver, and that he was there for some period of time, 30 to 40 minutes, and then came home and found the bodies. The prosecution says you were there the whole time. We have videos that can prove it. And you only went to your mother's after you had committed the crime. So the caregiver takes the stand. And the question is, did you have any conversations with Alec that night? Or in the days thereafter about his visit? Right around the time of the murders, at least. And this woman, who was so sweet and so credible, gave the most compelling testimony. Here it is, SOT 9.
And what did he tell you?
That he was sitting at the house. He was at the house.
And I'm not 100% following you. He was telling you or saying to you that he was at the house?
Mm-hmm.
When?
The night of the murders.
The night of the murders?
Yes.
And what was he telling you about that he was at the house the night of the murders?
That he'd been there 30 to 40 minutes.
Did he indicate to you what he wanted you to do with that information?
No. No.
What did he say?
He didn't say that he was at the house for 30 to 40 minutes. I said.
You said what? Was he there 30 or 40 minutes that night?
Not to my recall.
Why are you crying, Ms. Smith?
Because they're a good family, and I love working here. And I'm sorry all this happened. They're good people,
Vinnie, what do you make of it?
So this is I think it's sort of like the passive-aggressive Alec Murdaugh wielding his power and influence, because there's other parts of this conversation. The first thing is, right, he's telling her how long he was there. So he's giving her the story. I'm here 30 to 40 minutes. Later on in the same conversation, he says, I hear you're getting married. Weddings can be expensive. And then sort of offers to help with the payment of the wedding. But that can be read two different ways, because one of her jobs is as a caregiver for his mother. So that expensive wedding could get much more expensive if you lose your job, but it could get much cheaper if I help pay for it. Then he also adds about her second job at the school that he's good friends with her boss, the principal, which could help elevate her status at work and maybe give her a higher paying position at her other job, or perhaps she could lose that job. And that's Alec Murdaugh. This poor woman, super nice, super honest, and I think really sees the best in people all the time. But to me, and I think to folks inside that courtroom listening to her testimony, it was clear what Alec Murdaugh was trying to do. He was trying to flex his Murdaugh muscles and influence her to jump on the, Alec was here for 30 or 40 minutes train.
Steve, the mere fact that he would go back to her a couple days later and be like, it was 30 to 40 minutes is very suspicious. Who goes back and tries to say, like, remember the exact length of time I was here on the night of those murders? And the fact that she said it through tears, like, she was basically saying, I don't want to be doing this. I don't want to testify against him. It's a nice family. She didn't want to hurt him, but the truth was the truth. And then she added, this isn't just in retrospect, she added in the moment she knew something big was happening there in that conversation. And what did she do after the conversation? Here it is in SOT 10.
Did that conversation upset you?
Somewhat.
You upset right now?
Yes.
Did you call anybody about it?
My brother.
You called your brother after that conversation with Alec?
Yes.
To tell him about that conversation?
Yes.
And her brother is a South Carolina policeman, I believe. He's a policeman, and she wanted to discuss what was going on. So how do we defend against this, Steve?
Well, first off, it's a great case if the burden of proof is on the defense. But the burden of proof is on the state. And the state has to prove beyond an exclusion of every reasonable doubt that Mr. Murdaugh killed his son and wife. And I understand that you can look at different conversations and take these spins on it that are sinister. And sadly, every good deed that this man has ever done in his life now becomes a basis for saying, oh, he's just a manipulator. Now, clearly he was a manipulator. Clearly he was a embezzler, and he was really good at it because he could spin his way out of anything. That's kind of the modus operandi. That does not mean he killed his wife and son. And this is the problem is that it's all this guilt by insinuation and innuendo.
Well, it's a circumstantial case. What do you mean? They're building a circumstantial case. This is a piece of it.
Oh, fair enough, but a circumstantial case requires them to exclude a reasonable hypothesis of innocence in which there is a much more reasonable theory that is unrebutted by the state by any of their evidence that's been presented so far.
Why did he go back to the caregiver and say it was 30 to 40 minutes, right? To the point where she felt uncomfortable because she knew it was much shorter than that at the time the murders were happening.
Well, I'm not certain because on the cross, I think there was a little bit of equivocation on that. And I think that she is a bit, time frames like that, whether it's 20 minutes or 40 minutes, can you be that precise of what you did 3 or 4 days ago in a high stress situation? And when at the time, those type of time frames were not significant and not important. We really are not accounting for basic human failings of memory, which is a very common thing in criminal law. We see people testify to vastly different stories, and they're not lying. They're just misremembering. They're perceiving things different. So, and I think she may have misperceived the way he was coming back. I mean, if this man was
all right. But if that's true, Vinny, then why'd she call the brother? Why, if she was just
exactly
20, 40, why'd she call the brother?
I don't think that gets lost on the jury. They understand when there's sort of like a shakedown kind of thing happening. Everybody can put 2 and 2 together. Folks in the Low Country, they get it, they understand it, and I think they felt it in that moment. But it's interesting that Steve mentioned the failure of memories. I guess that is true because Alec Murdaugh forgot that he was at the scene of the murder that night before the murders.
Remember how fun cereal used to be when you were a kid? And how boring and bland adult cereal is, like fiber. There's nothing but fiber. Well, Magic Spoon has replicated your favorite childhood cereals to taste good, but each serving contains 0 grams of sugar, 0 I say, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and just 4 to 5 net grams of carbs per serving. It's a keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, and soy-free way to relive those childhood moments watching your favorite cartoons and stuffing your face with something you love. Plus, it's only 140 calories per serving. It's like there's magic in every spoonful, hence the name. With over 8 unique flavors, you will not get bored of feeling good with Magic Spoon. The super popular, previously limited edition birthday cake flavor is back to stay. We're celebrating our birthdays early with this fan favorite. Head to magicspoon.com/MK to grab a custom bundle of cereal and see for yourself. Try out the magic. Be sure to use our promo code MK at checkout to save $5 off your order. If you love those delicious, sugary cereals you used to eat when you were a kid, but you staved them off, you gave them up because you thought you couldn't recapture it at something that was a little bit healthier for you, check out Magic Spoon. They're so confident in their product, they back it with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like their product for whatever reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/MK. Use that code MK to save $5 on your order. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.